So I checked the first episode of a mile-long title which pretty much spoils the whole premise, and despite coming off as completely boring, I pretend to be positive. Since if you are not positive, there is no point in talking about the show. So this show is an isekai, one of the 10 isekai airing at the same time. A third of the entire season is nothing but trash isekai. I really like trash isekai, because if I didn't like isekai, I wouldn't be talking about isekai. It starts with a waifu mentioning her power level, because what a better way to introduce a character, if not with a drunkable reference, that even the creator gave up on because he realized power levels are stupid. Characterization, who cares about that? Laugh at a dumb joke based on a dumb concept of a dumb show that makes this dumb show to come off as completely shallow and derivative. Because if you don't laugh means you don't enjoy the show, and therefore there is no point in talking about the show. So the waifu gives superpowers to most people she summons because that is what happens in isekai. You don't train or study for many years so you can get powers. You gain powers just by being in an isekai, because who would want to put effort in a power fantasy? Also, all powers function like a video game because that is what happens in isekai. I really like how unoriginal this is, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. Everybody just accepts they are in a video game and they agree to do missions because they have no control over the situation, and so they play along like the puppets they are. Don't you love passive characters that are just reacting to situations instead of having goals of their own? I sure love it, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. Meanwhile, the protagonist is so motivated, he sleeps the whole time. Don't you love unmotivated characters that do nothing but sleep all the time instead of being active and caring about what is going on around them? I sure love it, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. Then a monster attacks, many people die, and nobody seems to give a shit. It's like they have no regard for human life whatsoever. The protagonist in specific is so uninterested, he just plays video games in a video game, while his teachers and schoolmates are being butchered to pieces all around him. Now that's the kind of character I would love to see more of, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. Then some of the male students act like one-dimensional rapists who want to do horrible things to the female students just so the protagonist who sleeps and plays video games will come off as better by comparison. Don't you love how despicable they were written just so the audience will hate them right away instead of being multi-layered and complex individuals? That's what good storytelling is all about, and I am sure it's good storytelling, because if it weren't, there would be no point in talking about the show. Then the protagonist kills the male rapists by simply telling them to die. Because that's his power, he can instantly kill anyone he likes by saying it. The audience is supposed to find this super amazing. He killed his own schoolmates without giving a damn. He did it very easily, and it's satisfying revenge porn because they were rapists. Was it edgy, cheaply done, emotionally manipulative and rushed, since it began and ended in a few minutes? Yes, and I love it, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. By the way, we know the superpower each one of them has because they casually infodump it on the audience instead of making it obvious by what is happening on screen. In fact, most of the things they say are an infodump. They just describe what is happening in front of them even if it's obvious. They do it just so the audience doesn't have to think, and for the audio-visual medium to not be used in the show's benefit, since you can get everything that is happening without looking at the screen. The non-stop Captain Obvious explanations are all you need in order to get what is happening. I really love this type of storytelling, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. Then here comes the slavery. There are slave collars that make somebody completely obedient. Slavery in isekai is amazing. I really love how it's always an excuse to make you feel powerful by controlling the lives of others. Sick power fantasies are amazing, because if they weren't, there would be no point in talking about them. So the protagonist kills the males and is left with a female. He considers killing her as well, but doesn't because her boobs were soft. That is his justification for keeping her alive. Kill the men and keep the women, because boobs. Don't you love how sexually deprived this is? I sure do, because if I didn't, there would be no point in talking about the show. And there you have it, the first episode of what is definitely going to be a classic masterpiece that subverts, deconstructs, becomes the gold standard, and whatever buzzword you want to use. It's definitely worth watching, because if it didn't, I wouldn't be talking about it. It's a 10 out of 10 show, like pretty much any other show I talk about, because that is the only reason somebody needs for making a video.